YouTube's monetization requirements explained in plain English, coming right up. YouTubers never took a vow of poverty that I'm aware of. It's only natural that some YouTubers are going to want to monetize, and there's nothing wrong with that. It is an important goal. If you want to upgrade your camera equipment, if you want to get a better microphone, if you want to fund improvements in your channel, or maybe turn your channel into your career, then monetization is going to be part of that journey in all likelihood. Money is something that makes your goals possible. It helps you pursue your why. So let's see, what are the monetization requirements on YouTube? There are two requirements. I'm going to cover each one separately. The first one, and I think easiest to understand, is you need 1,000 subscribers. Now, this is not related to any time. There's no time limit on when you get the subscribers. If it takes you 1 year, if it takes you 10 years, it really doesn't make any difference. You just have to get to 1,000 before you can apply for monetization. Now, it's also important to note a couple other useful functions activate when you get 1,000 subscribers. Your community tab, your ability to go live on mobile, and potentially other things too, as YouTube changes the platform, as they often tend to do. So along that subscriber journey, also when you get 100, you can get a custom URL, so you're not having those links that have just random characters at the end. So that's the subscriber thing. And if you want to know how to get 1,000 subscribers, we've got a video here on the channel about that. We've got a video about how to get 100 subscribers in 30 days and how to get 10 subscribers every day if you're really willing to work at it and also invest in yourself a little bit financially as well. So that's the subscriber requirement. Pretty simple and straightforward. Now, the next requirement is watch time. So you need to get 4,000 hours of watch time in a 12-month period before you can apply for monetization. One common source of confusion about this is the requirement is in watch hours, whereas most of the metrics that you see in YouTube Studio and the YouTube mobile app normally shows your watch time in minutes. So to translate that, 4,000 watch hours is 240,000 watch minutes. And that's probably going to seem like a lot. And some people get it fairly easily. I was able to hit that on my Vacation Impossible channel kind of without trying. I wasn't really going for it. I was working on other things and that just happened organically. But on this channel, for example, we've struggled to hit it. We're not quite at halfway yet. And that's just part of the journey. And so there's no hard and fast rule of when people hit it in terms of like, oh, how many years does it take you to get your watch time to where you need to be? But what is important is this requirement is a timed requirement. And so it has to be within 12 months. But it's any 12 months. The system is always looking at the last 12 months, okay? And this confuses a lot of people, so I'm gonna take some time with this. I'm gonna be slow on this. Let's say you start your channel in January of 2020. And so you're wondering maybe on December 31st of 2020, does all my watch time go to 0 after that? And it doesn't. So on like January 1st, what they would look at is from January 2nd, 2020 to January 1st of 2021. Another way of looking at it is, let's say that it is currently February of some year. So your watch time requirement would be from February of last year to the end of January of this year, if it was February 1st. So the 12 months moves along. It's not like it has to be in a calendar year or a particular 12 months. You can see this information very easily by going into the monetization section of YouTube Studio on desktop. This information isn't generally displayed on your phone, so you're going to want to look at desktop, and you can probably get to it through your mobile browser if you view it in sort of desktop mode. So if you're thinking about paying for a mobile app that tracks your watch time and subscribers, I would recommend against it. I think if you're thinking of investing money in your channel, you could better invest it in something like TubeBuddy that actually provides tools to grow your channel rather than just constantly monitoring its progress, because monitoring its progress doesn't give you a lot of information to make more informed choices to improve the channel's growth. It's just kind of useless information. It's just watching things in a really narrow focus. So I recommend against those apps that track your watch time and subscribers, especially if you have to pay for them. If you have to pay some money, invest it in your channel, not invest it in micro-tracking everything that doesn't give you information to grow your channel. Now, another common source of confusion around watch hours is that something called public watch hours. So what does that mean? You might be looking at your watch time in an app somewhere, in maybe like the YouTube mobile app or on the desktop on Studio, and you might see a certain number of hours. And then you look at the monetization page and maybe it has your watch hours as a little less. And so you're wondering what's going on. Is there a lag? Is something broken? Did I set something up? Is YouTube cheating me? We get those questions all the time in the Small YouTubers Boost Facebook group, which I do recommend you check out. It has a lot of great resources. You can find it at facebook.com/groups/Small YouTubers Boost. Over 300,000 small YouTubers. We share the journey together. We celebrate the successes. We commiserate on the struggles, and we share important tips, and you might find someone to collaborate with. So in the group, people are often asking these questions, and that prompts a lot of these videos. So public watch hours excludes a couple of important things. So when you watch your own video, whether intentionally or accidentally, maybe you're quickly checking to make sure it appeared the right way or what have you, when you're watching your own video, which I recommend against generally speaking because it doesn't help for watch hours, when you watch your own video, that watch time does not count towards public watch hours because it's not public. It's not the people watching it, it's the creator watching it. That doesn't count. Another example of watch time that isn't included in public watch hours but might appear in other areas is when you create a short. If people watch it on the shorts shelf, that watch time does not contribute towards your monetization. Other watch time on those videos, if they watch it sort of through other normal means, does count, but when it's watched on the shelf, where the stories are also included on the mobile app, for example, that watch time does not count towards your goal. Now, people who might subscribe watching the short, that still counts as a subscription. It's the watch time that doesn't totally count. And so that's sort of important to keep in mind. Oftentimes, when you look at different places that have YouTube metrics of any kind, whether it's the desktop in YouTube Studio, the mobile app for YouTube, the TubeBuddy app, which I do highly recommend, you could be looking at things on Social Blade, other places, just viewing your watch page on desktop versus mobile versus other places, your TV, whatever, they might all have slightly different numbers. This is normal for the platform. People frequently ask in the group, is it broken? Is YouTube cheating me? Did I set something up wrong? How do I fix this? It's not necessarily broken. It's how the platform is set up. It's just that these things update with different regularity, different frequency. And so, for example, Social Blade, I find, might update between once every 2 days to every few hours, depending on how it's set up. And different apps and different views update with different frequency. So, for example, even within the mobile app for YouTube, where it shows you recent videos on your video screen or your real-time view count, all those sorts of things, those numbers are often a little bit off, and it's largely just because there is a lag in the updating of them. So don't panic, and honestly, don't waste your time checking YouTube's math. You gotta trust YouTube's math, because even if it is wrong, there's nothing you can really do about it. So let's use our time where it actually improves and grows our channel. So you're probably asking yourself, okay, I understand the watch time requirement, fantastic. It never gets set back to 0 unless you get no watch time for 12 months. That's the only time it sets to 0. That almost never happens. Your channel's kind of dead at that point. You can bring it back to life or start a new one, that's up to you, but it doesn't generally go to 0. It shouldn't. So with all of that said, you're probably wondering, how do I get this watch time? How do I get these 4,000 hours? And it can be a challenge. The thing is, you're going to want to try and get more views. More than anything else, getting fresh eyeballs on your content is what's going to get you that watch time. Now, once you have some people watching, you're probably going to want to look at things like your retention and making sure you're keeping the audience engaged. That is a complicated separate question we will address in other videos. But really, it's all about trying to drive views. Nothing will improve the standing and position of your channel more than releasing a new video. So that's the well-known requirements for monetization on YouTube in terms of subscribers and watch time. Hopefully I've addressed some of the confusion that does crop up from time to time for small YouTubers. I want to mention one other really important thing though when it comes to monetization. You gotta follow YouTube's rules. It's not just a matter of getting the subscribers and getting that watch time. If you did it by violating copyright or the fake engagement policy or the community guidelines on YouTube, if you just kept re-uploading the same video time and again, or if you just stole someone else's video, if you do these things that are wrong, both morally and against the rules of the platform, then you're likely not to get approved for monetization, even if you hit the watch time and subscriber requirement. So it's not just about hitting the requirements. You kind of have to do it the right way. Never, ever pay for subscribers or views. You can potentially pay for an ad campaign. You want to run ads on Facebook or YouTube or whatever. But this brings us to another example where watch time that you obtain doesn't count towards monetization. The watch time you get from ads, from running ads on the YouTube platform, does not count towards monetization. So that's a third kind of watch time that might not end up counting, and you might see a disconnect on the monetization page and on other areas of YouTube. The monetization page is the most trustworthy spot for that. So hopefully that explains the monetization requirements and some of the pitfalls and a little bit of advice on how you can achieve this goal. And remember, there's nothing wrong with wanting to monetize your channel, so don't let people tell you otherwise. YouTubers did not take a vow of poverty, not one that I can remember. So question of the day, what do you find harder, subscribers or watch time? And what are you doing to address that? If you have any advice for people, share it in the comments. Let me know where you're struggling. Maybe that will help us decide what future videos we make to help you succeed on YouTube and get monetized. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found this helpful at all, please give it a like. That's how we know to prioritize making more of these kinds of videos. So if you want to see more of this kind of video, give us a like. I appreciate it a lot. Make sure you subscribe with notifications turned on. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.